Hey, how's it going? This is Access Video Log 2. My name's Chad. I'm the pastor at Access Church, or I guess what's starting as Access Community. And yeah, we just had our second community gathering this past Sunday. It's Wednesday now, and it's really exciting to see what's happening. Not gonna lie to you, the first few months of trying to pull this thing together, of trying to follow God's lead and come out here to Aldergrove and start something up from the ground up, from the get-go. It hasn't been easy. It wasn't easy at all. I see a little bit of momentum building right now, though, so I'm excited. It's coming together. Um, from the last video log, I told you that we were talking about reconciliation, the fact that we have a ministry of reconciliation, that we are reconciled to God as Christians in Christ, through Christ, and we have a ministry of reconciliation to help people understand that they can be reconciled to God as well through Christ, and also to reconcile people to one another, to be reconciled to other people, to create communities. And so this past week really focused on what it means to be in community, what it means to have community, um, what community means. And so we discussed a whole bunch of different things about um, uh, how community gets separated in so many ways. We talked about the beauty of community, how a lot of times in our culture we don't really know what community is. We talked about the fact that community is sometimes like a family, and you don't always like the people that you're in community with. But that's kind of in the nature of community as well. So from that, I kind of went away and processed it a little bit. And I think from my processing, from my thinking about it, from different things, I think that there are two things that we're really after. In fact, I know that there are two things that we're really after as a church. One is to be missional, strategically, intentionally missional. Now, missional is a buzzword that's been passed around and tossed around. It's kind of like a junk drawer term that everybody says, "Oh yeah, we're missional," but nobody really knows what they're talking about. So I want to unpack that. But the second thing, before I get there, is to be attractional, because the gospel, uh, whenever you proclaim the gospel, you want a hearing. You want people to hear it. If you're just proclaiming it, you're not trying to attract people to it, then what are you doing? So we want to be attractional. We want people to hear the gospel, to respond to the gospel, and to be involved in a community that together is going after the gospel. So we want to be missional. We want to be attractional. So what does that mean in terms of community? Well, community has two different, well, maybe a number of different things, but I'm focusing on two different aspects of community. One aspect is that community is developed among people who are like-minded, so who have a similar ideology, whether they come from a variety of places, or a variety of backgrounds, or variety of uh, different demographics, whatever. A community is developed when people have a similarity. So in a Christian community, that is the gospel. That is the doctrines of Christianity. That's what brings a Christian community together. And so that's talking about really our attractional model. We want to attract people who really are like-minded, um, who really are after the gospel together. But the second aspect of community is a positional kind of community, where wherever somebody is positioned, in their workplace, in their neighborhood, in their volunteer services, in their relationships, their families, their positional networks, if you will, their positional relationships that they have, those form community as well. And we've seen that in a lot of cases. People that are really involved in their neighborhood, for example. They have block parties, they're involved in block parties, they have people over to their house. Their house is sort of known as sort of a central hub of their neighborhood. Gatekeepers in neighborhoods. I know that they're down the street from our house. There's a guy, and he's kind of a gatekeeper in the neighborhood. He knows everybody. Everybody knows him. He walks his dog around. He's saying hi to everybody, and it's really exciting. He has a positional, a position in our neighborhood, which fosters community. So basically, what that is to say is that with Access Church, we are after. we are after ideological community. We're after people who are like-minded and want the same things, want to go after the same things, which is mainly the gospel of Jesus. All right, but we're not just after those people, because Jesus has told us, go into the world and preach the gospel to all creation. And so our job is to respond to that call, and in our places where we are positioned, in our neighborhoods, in our schools, in our workplaces, in our families, wherever we're positioned, we are to engage in community, to create community, to bring people together. Is it just for sharing the gospel? No, but it should definitely involve sharing the gospel. I think sharing the gospel is central, should be central in the life of any Christian. So that needs to be involved. But create community, rub shoulders with other people. Get involved in neighborhood. This past weekend, I was also at the Aldergrove Fair Days and had a lot of fun there. Had a blast. But what I really took away from that was the relationships that I was developing and forming with other people who were involved in that community, and with the people that just came to the fair. My call, not just as a pastor, not just as a church planter, but as a Christian, is to be involved and engaged in my culture. Because that's what Jesus has told me to do. Go into your culture, make disciples, build communities, call people to one another, be in the ministry of reconciliation, reconciling people to one another and reconciling people to God. So that's really a kind of a wrap up from the second Access Community gathering. Not everybody was there from the first time, being summertime. People have different things going on, different things like that. But we did see some new faces this week. So very excited about what's going on. Like I said, we're building up momentum. Other people said, yeah, they'd love to be there. They weren't able to be there this week. So we'll see what happens in consecutive times. So continue praying for us. And if you want to be involved, don't feel shy, or do feel free to get in contact with us, and we'd love to send you some information. Thanks.